Hi, this is Matt Donegan from Business Spotlight. I'm here with Kat. Kat, tell me about your business.
Right. Well, I am the MD of a company called Art of the Possible. And actually recently another company which we've just set up called Art of the Possible Influence, which is an influencer offshoot of the business, of the marketing business that I run. Art of the Possible was by me. I didn't really know what I wanted the business to do when I registered the name, which I had no planning for, by the way. I registered it in January 2019 and then did nothing with it for 6 months whatsoever. I wasn't particularly brilliant at working for anyone else originally, so I just had decided that it was time for me to not work for somebody else. And so I set up the company, and it very organically happened actually during that time that I had conversations with people around. My background is that I've worked in lots and lots of different areas. So everything from kind of McCann, where I was working with big global brands. I've worked Ogilvy One, actually, where, as you will remember, Ogilvy was very much in the kind of content space, social and digital. And then I'd worked client side. I'd worked for Camelot for 2 years, who run the National Lottery. But I'd also worked in content agencies. So right kind of at the coal face of social and digital. But I didn't really know where my heartland is. We're sort of marketing is such, as you know, such a big spectrum. And so I eventually, just through networking and just through meeting potential clients, I ended up starting the business rooted in social, which was brilliant given what was about to happen to the world, because our business, or my business, just went, at that point, it was just me. And of course, I'd already won a couple of clients. At the time they said to me, can you do social? Of course, I didn't even have a Facebook account, but within about a week I did social. But then at the time when the world changed with COVID, my clients who I just picked up and had been working with kind of 6, 7 months said, oh, you can have all our budget now because there's no experiential. And so I was amazingly well placed. The business just grew and grew and grew through the whole of the lockdown period. And what it meant is that we have a very strong social and digital offering, and the skills that we have and that I had, all about like brand strategy, NPD development. I've been able to almost use social like a Trojan horse with some of our clients. So, you get in there, you speak to their customers every day, you really understand their business. And then when there's new opportunities that come along, you're really well placed to help support them in those kind of endeavors. So it's a very long answer to a very short question, but we are a marketing agency based in London who service clients all over the world. And we have a heartland in social and digital, but we also have a room in kind of brand strategy, in kind of traditional marketing, print. But yeah, that's how we came to be and what we are. You'll probably have to edit this a lot, I suspect. I'm very
There'll be
verbose.
no edits, Kat. There'll be no edits. So I'm going to ask you something. What makes you stand out in the crowd? So that's like a bog standard question, right? What's your
Yeah,
niche?
yeah, yeah.
Makes you stand out in the crowd. But I know that marketing's a really, really congested space. I know there's hundreds, thousands of agencies just in London alone. Many of them will be saying, yes, we do social, yes, we do digital. What makes you different? Because if you're winning all this business, you've got clients all over the world. Why
Yeah.
come to you?
We have had discussion after discussion on this, and almost like arguments with my whole team. We have no hierarchy. So although the buck stops here, I have a very, very flat structure, and right down from, we have apprentices right through to my creative director. And the answer, there's something magic about what we're doing, right? And everyone has a slightly different take on it. And sounds so trite, and I'm going to give you a long answer anyway. But it's that everything we do is a bit of magic. It's a bit better, right? So when a client comes to us with a challenge or a project, we don't say yes to everything. We'll say to them, if you've got this money, that might not be the right expensive creative responses, but like thinking creatively about how you might address a challenge. And we always over deliver. So we've never missed a KPI. We challenge everything. We work so graft so hard, but not in terms of like hours, although they do work hard, but we have the rest of the team have a fairly good work-life balance, I would hasten to add. It's just me who's a complete workaholic. But they always try and think so differently about what the client wants or what their challenge is, and then they deliver a solution that could be quite wacky or could be quite different, that stands them out from the crowd. And a lot of our clients tell us they've come to us with a project because they know that Art of the Possible will deliver it. They know that another agency might say, oh, that's not possible, or that's not difficult in those time frames, or that's, they might just take the money and run. Of course, there's loads of good agencies out there, don't get me wrong, but that's just not how we operate. We co-invest in projects with clients. We seriously put our money where our mouth is. Nothing is too much. And it's just right down to the tiny details. Like when you send an email to a client, my team, all of them, because this is how I was classically trained, I think, as an account handler back in the dark ages. But you extra links and you make sure everything works, and the client might have asked for X, you think of every variant of that email that they might need, or everything they might need, and you include it all in it. It's all about over servicing, and I think that level of quality of every single thing we do, right through from big AR experiences. We've just had one go out on 400,000 Malfi bottles. I don't know if you know Malfi gin, an AR experience that we've built with a dev partner called Darabase. We've had we do oh God, what do we do? Print. We're launching a brand new brand for a big global business that 100% is a household name. We're launching a completely independent brand for them at the moment. But everything we do, everything they know the service they're going to get from us is always going to be just leveled up. And the other thing, which all our clients tell us, which is why we haven't lost a client in the entire time we've been trading, which is 5 years, and we just win, we add to the portfolio, which is amazing. And I should never say things like that because you have egg on your face. But all our clients say to us that they just love the team, they love the energy, they love that status meetings, they look forward to it. It's their favorite meeting of the week. All my team, they are recruited and they're trained in the same way I am, which is just completely open and honest. And I swear I'm trying extremely hard not to. I love what we do. It really is we have fun. We have fun with it, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And everyone from, sorry, go on. I'll stop me because I'll just keep going otherwise.
Kat, you've got a huge amount of energy. When you're hiring, when you're recruiting, are you looking for the same kind of energy levels? Or are you hiring
No,
or how does it work?
we have evolved the entire business on personality, right? So we have evolved our business based on skills and personality of people we hire because we like them. And we certainly couldn't have a team full of people who were just like me. No one would ever sleep and no one would ever get word in edgeways. So that would not be good, conducive to a successful business venture. But it's brilliant. We've recruited really different types of people. So we've got what we look for is people that are different. People that would complement the existing team so that we can grow at a pace that everyone who's included one by one adds a different flavor to the mix. That's really important. We look for people that think differently and think creatively and can challenge us and me. It's really important. My team, they trust me, but they challenge me on everything all the time, which is really healthy and really, really good. And we look for people who can, bring it. This sounds so, I'm going to say it wanky, but we look for people that bring a different kind of energy, which is really exciting. And I've always said to recruiters actually over the years when I was client service director at McCann, through a big growth period that they had, and I hired a lot of people. So I had a lot of recruitment agencies I worked with at the time. And I always said, you can't teach personality. So, I'd rather teach someone how to do something, but get some natural kind of flair or bring something different. And that's what I've continued that. And it really works. I've got a really amazing team. Brilliant.
You're hiring on EQ and values as opposed to skill set. Yeah, absolutely.
Completely.
That's
if they've got skills, that's a bonus.
Well, you can teach skills. You can't teach EQ.
Exactly.
You cannot do
That's
that.
exactly it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And I'm figuring that they've got to have a certain level of energy just to try and keep up with you. Surely.
I mean, my whole team are like they're very different. I mean, I've got like an amazing junior planner who's just relocated from Jamaica, and she is like, I mean, her EQ is through the roof, but she is, you know, completely chilled and extremely like you know, like thinks about everything and like really just completely different to me. But when I first met her, I just thought, you are magic. There is something so magic about her. And I just knew that she had to, we didn't even have that role available for her, but I just knew that there was something that she needed to work with us. And she's just brought so much creative magic and like understanding of like in a different way than I'd never thought. But her personality couldn't be more different. She's so, I don't want to say low energy because it sounds like a negative thing, but just, I mean, nothing like me. Or we've got Tim, our creative director, you know, he's a brilliant creative, but he's a very much like a yin to my yang. You know, he's like really relaxed, not relaxed, but like very like steady Eddie. Got all these. It sounds like I think I'm great, and the rest is really negative. That's not what I think at all. But like, it's just very like he's just a very like calm. You know, not prone to histrionics, which I know I've worked with lots of amazing creatives who
Yeah.
are. And so I don't think it is that we're all crazy like me. But that we definitely have a couple, but what everyone has in common, completely unified, is a complete dedication.
Yeah.
So like they really, you know, the team, as I said, they don't work 24/7 at all. It's not like the other agencies I've ever worked in ever. But you'll have a member of the team, a junior member of the team, not that there's any real hierarchy, but someone who's like relatively like new in their career, sitting on a tube on Saturday night, having been out for the couple of drinks with their friends, and they'll see an ad and think, oh, that'd be great for this client. And they'll Slack it or they'll WhatsApp it to the team and say, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
That's what I love. It's
Yeah.
not that you have to be online working at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. It's just that you give a shit.
Yeah.
That's what they all really give a shit.
100% involvement doesn't require 100% of your time, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's a really good thing actually. If they're thinking about work outside, that means they're enjoying it inside. So, is there anything that you do inside the business that fosters that sense of community that you've obviously built inside the company?
We do a few things actually. I mean, firstly, we get on, which is really important. We, as I said to you, we have a very flat hierarchy. So anyone can, I mean, some of our best initiatives we've done have come from members of the team who are not me. And right down from kind of, you know, like I said, apprentices, Kickstarters, right in the junior, right through to some of the amazing extremely seasoned industry people that we have. We've got a very wonderful charity called SUDC, which is like a passion project for some of our team. So they're very kind of like committed. If a member of the team wants to actively support a charity or do things, we do team days out, which sounds a bit trite, but we do. We're going on like a sponsored walk. Well, it's not actually sponsored. It's like a contribute to the miles. It's walking for the charity. So we're going to go and do like a South Downs day with a pub lunch. What else do we do? We do a really cool thing actually, which a really good friend of mine who runs a like a business. She's going to kill me for trivializing like this, but it's called her one that she does read to lead, and it's basically like a book club but for businesses. It's amazing. She's awesome. And occasionally we'll do something quite similar where sometimes we take a client project, sometimes we take something someone's read, maybe an article, like something about, you know, when AI suddenly appeared on the scene and everyone couldn't believe it existed, whereas everyone's sort of been working with it for about the last 20 years. You know, we'll critique it. So it's almost like people get homework and then we come and we have like it's like a book club for an hour,
Yeah.
or a kind of critique session, and everyone, you can see how different everyone's personalities are because they bring so much, everyone takes different things out of it, and everyone contributes different things. So we try and do that regularly, and that's brilliant because it's a bit of a breakaway. Creative director is much better at kind of encouraging people to go for a drink every now and again, although lots of the team don't drink, especially the younger members of the team, which is So different to when I started in marketing, that most of my friendships, who are still my best friends, were forged over regular 5 a.m. finishes at the local pub. But yeah, I think we do quite a lot. There's lots of perks. People can either choose to have their birthday off or have lunch with the whole team in a nice restaurant. Most of the time they pick the nice restaurant. One of the members of our team managed to give us everyone food poisoning before the holidays, which didn't go down too well with their selection of restaurants. We get Faye well, she doesn't want to be called head of ops because she does so much. She also runs Art of the Possible Influence with me and with Tim. And she's a brilliant former account handler, who's now more behind the scenes, although I'm slowly dragging her back into it. She looks after us and she makes sure that everyone is really, really well looked after. So, any initiatives around sharing, birthday staff. I mean, it all sounds a bit trite, doesn't it? But like loads of really good
It's,
stuff. Well, anything you can think of, will
it's really
do.
working for you though, right? And you can tell it's really working. But you've got huge amounts of energy driving the business forward. But what have been the challenges?
Um, there's been, I mean, so many challenges. Hiring people's hard, as you well know. Um, I was ripped off by a few people early on that I was really surprised about. I had one guy, I won't mention names, but he really upset me. He'd actually worked with me at McCann for years. And I'd asked him, reached out, he had a very large following on LinkedIn, and I asked him if he knew anyone who could help me on this project that I'd been briefed on by a new client. It was just me. I mean, the whole company was like smoke and mirrors, basically. It was just me. And he said, "Oh, yeah, no problem." And he said, "Oh, but I'll actually do it for you, but I need the money up front." And the client was paying me £6,000 and I paid him 6,000. I didn't think anything of it. I mean, how naive, right? But I never want to change. I never don't want to trust people. So that is not an invitation for people to come and rip me off. But that's like how I operate. And we pay suppliers and partners well before we get paid. We just don't, and we've never, Faye's never questioned it. She looks after all our finances. Tim completely has always operated the same way in his entire career. So we look after people. But this guy just ghosted me, took the money and ran. And it was so awful because I had nothing. I mean, I've never borrowed a penny for Ask the Possible. It's all been like incremental. I never took money out of the business. I lived, completely without anything as it started. And yeah, and I had to borrow money from my mum to help do it. My mum doesn't have money to then get what I needed to do to deliver the site. And then that got sorted out. But I think, yeah, people taking advantage really has surprised me.
Yeah.
Because I just think, like you said at the beginning, you kind of get out what you put in. And I've given a lot. So that was quite challenging. And hiring people, I think I'm so lucky with the team I've got. But I've had to be relatively ruthless when someone hasn't fitted, because if someone, they think, "Oh yeah, Cat's really fun and great," and then I'm hard, like I don't demand 24/7, but I demand when you're on, you're good. And people can make as many mistakes as they like, but they've got to care. And if people are just like a bit lackluster, or they're thinking, "Oh, I'm at that time in my life when I just want to draw a salary and not and just deliver nice projects for clients," no, you've got to be the best. Like, we have got to. I care so much that you're only as good as your last mistake. And our clients are the reason all of us have roofs over our head. They deserve everything. And I just won't tolerate it. And I tried to tolerate it because I know people work a bit differently and all that, and it just doesn't work for me. You're either in or you're out. And it really matters to me. And our clients are so awesome. Honestly, I am just like the luckiest human on the planet. They are really, really cool. And we've got an amazing portfolio. And so they don't deserve anything less. So that's been a challenge, making people have my standards.
People's the challenge, right? People's the challenge. So where are you going to get to, Kat? Where are you going to take the company to? What's in
Well,
1 year or
we
5 years? Where's it going to be?
So I've never had a plan. Please, I mean, my team will see this probably. They'll be forced to watch it at gunpoint. But I really, they won't be, by the way, just the record. They probably be like, "Oh, God's cat on now." I What I really want is every single member of our current team to be really happy and to have a stake in the business, and they do naturally anyway. But I would really like to get to a point where We have all our clients pretty much are retained, which they are now. I would like to continue that. I'd like to grow, but not too much. I would like to have, we've got offices and satellite offices now in several different markets around the world. I'd like to be able to have potentially like for myself to not be doing quite as much on the day to day. So, and to allow other people to, it's not like they're not allowed, but to have more people to take some of that mantle so that not so much of the business is so dependent on me. But which is the nature of the beast, right? You start a business, you are the business for a long time. I'm not now. The team are amazing. And certainly Tim, who's my business partner, is like a huge part of that too. But I think I would like security for the team. I would like balance, personally. I like the business, like people to know who we are. I mean, we win awards, but like doesn't everyone? We
No,
do really good stuff. The word of
don't
mouth
pat.
about it, really
Not
good.
everybody wins awards.
Yeah, most people can't be asked to enter them. That's why we're cleaning up. But I think I would really like all of our team to be really happy, whatever they're doing. Hopefully, be doing something with me. And I would, yeah, I'd like to. We have a really different model of people in terms of like how they're all hybrid. We don't have the same traditional account handlers, planners, creatives. Our creatives are very much like kind of project managers and account handlers too. They've got that bit about them, so they know it. They're so bloody fast. It's amazing. And I think we're pioneering a slightly different way of working. I'd like that to be like recognized as something that makes really cool work and that clients love and are attracted to. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of like I'd like to be famous. I don't really want to be famous. I mean, I'd be in like, I'd sort of I'd probably get exposés on me and all the horrendous things I've done in my life. But I think definitely the business and what we're kind of striving for, I think I'd love it would be amazing. It'd be amazing. So yeah, nothing very concrete. I'd probably like to have a plan in that by that point. That's a good that's 5 years. Like nice to know what I'm doing in my life.
I deal with many businesses, and I think there's probably 5, maybe 10% at a push might have a plan. So I don't think you're in
Yeah.
bad company. I think it's a good thing to do, by the way. You should have a plan, but that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's good. It's fine. You're doing well. So look, what's the one big lesson that you've learned? Like we've said about not trusting people, that hiring people is a challenge. So if you're going to look back and you think of the last few years, you look back at your 18-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
Um, do maths and go into the city and make lots of money and life.
I can't
Don't spend
imagine you
like
doing that.
24 Don't
I
spend
can't
24
imagine.
hours having panic attacks because you're worried about this client, you might be let down, or that this client, or um I don't know. I don't know. I've enjoyed everything. I mean, there's been some really shitty hard times. I mean, I'm 42 and it's been tough graft. Luckily, I've got lots of Botox, which keeps me looking so sprightly. But I think I've always been myself. I've never bullshitted clients. I really like, I think I would say to them, just stick to your guns, just do that. Like the times I've ever fucked up basically is when I've been trying to, because a boss or or someone has told me, don't behave like this because they won't like it. And actually that's the only time when you feel disingenuous. So I think, as long as you really care, people pick up on that, right? You can't, well, you can fake it, but I don't. And I think I would just say to myself, don't let anyone tell you not to be yourself.
Well, I
As
think you're
much
right.
pain of it as that must have been at times for people.
No, I totally think you're right about the authenticity piece, because you can fake it, but it doesn't really permeate, right? It doesn't really get through.
So
The client knows. I'm pretty certain the client knows, though it will just come across. So you can be a functionary, or you can really deliver for your clients. You've gone the deliver for your clients route, but that's part of your DNA, isn't it? That's not just anything.
yeah.
So you've mentioned art of influence. You've got the core business. What's next? What's the next step? Are you thinking another country, another division? What's going on?
So we got some plans. We are, I mean, we nearly opened an office, a full-on office in Australia at the beginning of this year, because we've got lots of Australian clients, some brilliant Aussie clients, and it's quite tough. At the moment, I'm having, Zooms at 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. every day with them, and then in the States all night. So I have to say it is a challenge at times, but I think it definitely will come. It's just about making sure that you've got the right clients, because it's like, if everyone says if you build it, they will come. And I do believe in that, but you need a little bit of sense when it comes to, to making sure you've got the right income to warrant setting up an office. So I think that definitely will happen. And I think, as I said to you before, I think just having a plan might be nice at some point. But we have got plans. I can't really share too much, because you don't know if everything's going to come off. But I think to make ourselves more prominent and more visible in the agency landscape is something that we're just about to start being committed to. We've been so focused on our clients that we haven't really had a chance to focus on us. And I think I don't want to take our eyes off the ball with the clients, because they are the reason we exist completely. But I think shifting to be a little bit more focused on like us as an organization and what we can achieve, it would be healthy for everyone, and yeah, healthy for the business. So I think that's probably where the shift's going to happen more than anything.
Right. Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. Makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. What's keeping you up at night, apart from calls to America and Australia? Is there anything that's bugging you, that's making you think that's really,
I mean, I don't want to get too political, but apart from the what horrendousness is going on in Palestine and on the West Bank, which my team have been out marching and since October last year. But apart from what the state of the world, nothing keeps me up at night. And from a business perspective, I sleep like a log. I am knackered, and the second my head hits the pillow, I'm out like a light, snore like a trooper, and I then wake up and I'm on. So I'm not worried.
You must be sleeping 3 hours a night, so you can't tell me you sleep like a log, because it's only for
Well, I sleep good for those 3 hours. I sleep good for those 3 hours. I think I so believe that we work so hard, and I do think we deserve good things. Like, I really do. And I think if something bad happens that's beyond our control, then you navigate. I hate that word pivot, because it's so overused in during COVID time. But you recalibrate. Nothing is. Sounds really stupid and airy fairy, doesn't it? But nothing is a problem. You just got to find solutions. I really think that. So that's how we march.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So listen, thanks so much. Your energy has washed over me. I now feel energized. I'm gonna go and work another 12 hours today.
Well, I'm going to check in with my client from my last call. They had the earthquake in New York on the call, so I want to check that they're all right.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
You should.
But yeah, I will. But
So
but I hope I haven't put you off entirely out of the possible. I know that's always my fear if I'm as the front woman.
Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite, Kat. It's been really cool speaking to you. Love what you're doing with the business. You're in a really, really congested space, right? So marketing services businesses, to stand out in a crowd's hard. There's a lot of competition, and if people are coming to you, you're doing something really well. So I'll take my hat off. Well done. You're doing
It's not
great.
just me. It's not just me. We've got an amazing
But I say you,
team. But
your
thank you.
company, but
Yeah.
you're obviously leading from the front, so that's really cool. I really want to keep in contact. So let's catch up soon, and in the meantime, thank you so much, and let's speak soon.
So much too. Have a really nice afternoon.
Thanks, Kat. Bye.